Your current clients trust you and feel you're credible. After all, they know you and they've worked with you. But you don't have that same credibility with a prospective client who has no hands-on experience with you. But it's worse than that. Many clients are actually cynical about prospective providers who come and pitch to them. They've had too many people interrupt their day and take up their time with sales pitches that add no value and aren't even believable. So how can you build your credibility in the eyes of a skeptical prospect? There are 4 strategies you can use to convincingly establish that credibility. Let's walk through them. But first, here are a few things you shouldn't do. Don't start with a brochure or PowerPoint presentation that lays out your credentials and describes your firm or your practice in detail. It's boring. You're telling rather than showing. And when you do that, you're focusing on you, not your prospective client. If you must bring something like that, leave it as a leave behind after the meeting is over. And if you aren't well known and feel you must lead with some information about you and your firm, there's a better way to do it. We'll get to that in a minute. Lastly, don't make claims of greatness or uniqueness. One executive recently said to me, "Don't come into my office and tell me you have a totally unique methodology. I've seen it all, and your approach isn't as unique as you think it is." Here are 4 ways to build your credibility with a new client. First, ask what I call credibility building questions. These are questions that inherently demonstrate your experience and they also engage your client. You state an observation and then you flip it and ask a question. For example, you might say, "In response to downward pricing pressure, other clients of mine in your industry are very focused on reducing their infrastructure costs in North America while building capability to support their distribution in emerging markets. How are you reacting to these market conditions? What strategies are you focused on right now?" Or, "In response to the new regulatory framework, some of my clients are moving quickly to put new financial controls in place while others are taking a wait-and-see attitude. How are you responding?" Second, show you've done your homework. "I read your article about a new model for Salesforce compensation. I was intrigued by your suggestion that team-based incentives aren't all that effective. I'm curious, what do you think does work in that situation?" Or, "I see that you've decided to outsource your call centers and application maintenance. How did you make that decision? And how is it going to affect the mission of your area?" Third, use client examples. You might even start out your meeting by saying, "The best way to describe what we do is to share a couple of examples of recent work we've done with clients in your market." Then use very short 50 or 60-word case studies. Tell a story. When Business Corp first approached us, they were frustrated at their lack of progress in growing their revenue from new services. And the story will go on from there. Fourth, leverage third-party endorsements. Here's what I mean by that. When you say you're great, it's puffery. Of course you'd say you're wonderful. It's not very believable in a low-trust world where people make more and more outlandish claims. But if a past client says you're really good and testifies to the quality of your work, that's believable. If you have an article that's been published or a research study you've done, either in traditional media or online, that gives you credibility. If you speak at a conference or sit on a professional committee for an important association, again, your credibility is enhanced.